Oh, I'm excited for this one today, guys, because I got a little bit of the community involved thanks to the Mid-Tier Snobs Facebook group. And today, we're going to talk about your favorite gun myths. Let's roll into it. Welcome back, everybody. Clint today with Classic Firearms, here to bring to you guys one of my favorite things, and that's gun info, FUD lore, gun myths that are far-fetched, inaccurate, straight fallacies, and I'm here to talk about them today. Yes, I have fallen victim to some of these. I'm sure that maybe you have as well, and I am sure also that this is going to be a continuation of a series because there's so many than the 5 that I've selected today, but these are 5 pretty good ones that I've seen on social media and everything all over the place. So drop your favorite gun myths below down in the comments section. Maybe wait till after we get to our number 1. Now, granted, the ones I'm going to be talking about today aren't in any specific order. We just got to list them because I can't say all of these at the exact same time. That'd be a really quick video and probably very incohesive, and you wouldn't stay tuned. So without further ado, let's roll into my number 5 pick. And no, this isn't another gun meme review. Thanks, Brandon. This is a meme, however, and it was one that really got to me. And if you're on Facebook, maybe you should go follow Mid-Tier Snobs V3 Don't Be Poor. It's a funny Facebook group, all right? But not everybody can get in though, so it's a little exclusive, little elitist. Don't be poor. All right, anyway, but this one, obviously, we've got one of our cartoon figures laying up at night because one time, about 9 years ago, someone said to me that he doesn't like translucent magazines or any mag with witness holes so you could see how many rounds you have left. His reason? He doesn't want the bad guys to see how many rounds he has left. I still think about this sometimes because that's one of the dumbest fucking things I have ever heard said to my face in person, and he was completely serious. I am pretty sure that if the United States military thought that witness holes or transparent magazines or window mags or something like that would actually be serving a disadvantage to the United States service member, they probably wouldn't have found a way to actually incorporate that idea into now the standard issue magazine all across the United States military, which is again this one, the FDE magazine Gen 3 window mag that you see on my Mark 18. Stay strapped, keep one in the chamber, all right? But all guns here are safe. They're handled by me. So this one really cracked me up because the idea that perhaps a oppositional force, a bad guy, an enemy combatant, whatever you want to call them, could actually look at your magazine to be able to tell how many rounds you have left. If you gave them that opportunity, you are doing a really bad job at being a combatant. Which leads me right to my number 4, actually, ironically. My number 4th pick, well, it's not exactly a transparent magazine, but it's that infamous ping after you run dry on an M1 Garand. That's right, the greatest battle implement ever devised is now ultimately going to cost you your life if you were a soldier during World War II or Korea, because quite frankly, that Japanese soldier, that German soldier, whatever it was, would have known the moment you ran dry because of that very audible and obvious in-block clip flying out of your locked back gun on an empty chamber. Ping! We all know the sound. We all love it. Believe me, I love it. Unfortunately, I don't have an M1 Garand here, or else I'd be showing it off. You would think I'd have one in my private collection, I know. Forgive me, one day. But anyway, let's be honest. In the fog of war, just like the transparent magazine, whatever you want to call that, there's no way in hell that an enemy combatant, especially if taking fire, is going to be paying attention to whether or not one of those little clip things is flying through the air. And yes, I'm talking about a legitimate clip, not a magazine. All right, the M1 Garand did take an 8-round in-block clip chambered in 30-06, unless it's the Navy model, then of course it's 308, very cool, love that. But 30-06, come on, the OG round for the M1, that's where it's at. But again, on a for real note, there's no way with the sound of combat, with guys yelling, taking, sending rounds, everything else, that an enemy combatant would be able to hear this and then charge your position. And then if you think about it, you got to think about the distance in which these engagements would be taking place. You think somebody's going to be able to clear 100 to 200 yards to get to you before you could reload an M1 Garand? I have sped reload an M1 Garand before, and it's actually pretty freaking quick. Now, however, if you're Alex Zedra, you've got rubber thumbs and hitchhiker's thumb, and you have to actually get a fake thumb in order to get that to work. Ask me how I know. Anyway, thank you guys for the input on this one. Let's move on to our number 3. Our next gun myth is about our favorite and most beloved cartridge, 5.56, and the fact that it was designed to wound, not kill, because if you wound an enemy combatant, then you're going to take 2 of his buddies off of the battlefield when they drag him back to safety to seek medical attention. Duh. All right, that is not true. And okay, so let's break this down really quick, because this is an urban legend that has been around for so long. It's actually kind of crazy that it's still prevalent today even. The original criteria for the United States military when it came to accepting the 5.56 cartridge was the fact that it could actually penetrate an enemy helmet at 500 yards or 500 meters, which, if you ask me, that sounds a lot more lethal than it does less lethal, you know, just to wound. And then the idea of, well, it's going to have more of a wounding effect. I guess you just don't know about, you know, bleeding. Because maybe it won't be the initial terminal punch, all that energy being delivered to the target to deliver an incapacitating blow in that instant. But you know, we got these veins and arteries, and well, you might not die immediately, perhaps, if you're not hit in the central nervous system, but if you lose that very vital red stuff we got in us, and you lose a lot of it pretty quickly, the inevitable is there. So you're gonna have a hard time adding me with that one. So let me know what you guys think down below. Is this actually truth somewhere down below, or nah, dude, there's no way that 5.56 is just made to wound, especially when you think about the later developments of the cartridge, the Mark II 6.2, the M855, M855A1, and there's been a couple of guys who, you know, have actually used this cartridge on a 2-way range that are very, let's just say, they're open to tell you that yeah, you might wound somebody, but it's definitely going to deliver a terminal effect on the target quickly if you know where to hit them, which is pretty much here. So there's that. Next one of my personal favorites, my number 2, is, don't you know the sound of racking a shotgun that is enough to actually scare an intruder out of your house? Because you never even have to load the thing. Oh, just the sound will scare them. Just buy yourself a shotgun, little lady. You'll be fine. Go home, put it by your bedside. Don't even worry about the ammo. In fact, if you're worried about it, just get some birdshot. That'll take care of them. Ladies and gentlemen, if you've ever been to your local gun shop and one of the employees there told you this, politely walk out. The reason I say that is because if you're going to let somebody try to convince you that just a sound is enough of a deterrent to sway somebody from perhaps hurting, killing, harming you or your loved ones, then don't trust that individual. You should seek within yourself and find what you believe is going to work best and what you deem necessary to protect you and your loved ones. Shotguns are effective. There's no doubt about it. I mean, Clint Smith, in his wise words, you know, pretty much effectively said that, you know, rifles and pistols will put holes in people and blah, 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 but a shotgun will effectively take a chunk of flesh and drop that on the ground.
Pistols put holes in people. Rifles put holes through people. Shotguns at the right range with the right load will physically remove a chunk of off your opponent and throw that on the floor.
He said it in a lot less polite words. We try to be a little family friendly here. But I will say this. Shotguns, yes, though effective in close quarters, they're not something I would recommend immediately to somebody that's just looking for a home defense gun. Because, well, there's myths like just rack it and that'll scare away the intruder. What happens if there's multiple intruders? Or what if your intruder is actually hard of hearing? You know, I mean, I'm just throwing that out there. And secondly, if you've never really actually run drills and different courses, and maybe you've taken a class in a combat shotgun, then you'll realize really quick that it actually takes a pretty high level of skill and efficiency to run a shotgun effectively, especially now since we're actually starting to see a lot more home intruders or home invasions with multiple attackers. Round capacity is going to be something you want on your side, where shotguns simply just don't have that. Granted, there are drum mags and magazine-fed shotguns and so on and so forth, which, hey, that's great, that's awesome. But they are a little bit larger, a little bit more unwieldy, and not the most maneuverable things inside of a house in that case. Now, if the National Firearms Act didn't exist and we could have short-barreled shotguns with magazines and things like that, that might actually be proven a little bit more effective. But because of those gun laws, they just make things a little bit trickier. Man, don't you wish they didn't exist? Maybe you should support organizations like Gun Owners of America and Firearms Policy Coalition and a slew of others that actually stand and fight for your rights. Yeah. Anyway, let's roll into my number one pick. One of my personal favorite movies is Die Hard. It's obviously one of the best Christmas movies ever. You've got John McClane and Nakatomi Plaza with the MP5, Hans Gruber with that beautiful HK, and then there's Die Hard 2. And you hear about that infamous Glock 7 being made of porcelain?
That punk pulled a Glock 7 on me. You know what that is? It's a porcelain gun made in Germany. Doesn't show up on your airport x-ray machines here, and it costs more than you make in a month.
You'd be surprised what I make in a month.
And able to get through the airport x-ray machines? And made in Germany? I get it's supposed to be a fictional gun, but the gun that they're actually talking about and using in the movie is the Glock 17, which, yes, is newer at this point in time. And yes, we have heard it so many times that, hey, you got to watch out for those Glock guns. They're made of plastic and they can get through metal detectors at the airport. You better watch out. Look, I was born in the early 90s and I even heard this growing up. All right, so I can only imagine for a few of you, like Ben, for instance, who started the company, he's told me about that myth. In fact, I think he believed it once, actually. I'm just kidding. He's much smarter than that. But anyway, the Glock 7 doesn't exist. It's not made of porcelain like your toilet. It's made of polymer, the Glock 17. And it does have metal components like a metal slide, metal barrel, metal recoil spring, metal this, metal that. So you're not going to make it through a metal detector through one of those, or now those new, you know, what did John McClane say? X-ray machine thingy, whatever. So yeah, that's just not going to work out for you. All right. And then you got to think about the price. It costs more than what, like a detective's salary. He only makes like $700. I don't know, but anyway, so I'll leave it off there, guys. Let me know what you think down below. What are some of your favorite gun myths? And if it's one I haven't heard before, then maybe we will feature it on the channel. I'm excited to read your comments. And of course, guys, don't forget to tune in Monday nights and Wednesday nights to catch our live streams. I will be your host on Monday nights, Kaya on Wednesday nights. And if we're busy, that's okay. Stay tuned because maybe we'll get you later in the week, all right? And if you haven't been to the website recently, yeah, I'd go check it out. There's always something pretty exciting going on over there. Don't miss out on that, guys. See you soon. God bless, and we'll see you next time at Classic Firearms.